I just need you to know that this is for sure one of my favorite Health Coach Radio podcast episodes because I just had my energy cleared by Frank Elaridi. He's a 4-time Emmy-winning journalist turned energy healer and host of the Quite Frankly podcast. He's covered everything from natural disasters to the Academy Awards as a journalist, but now he focuses on helping people release subconscious blocks, negative emotions, and conditioned programming that keeps them stuck in cycles of stress or physical imbalance. He's the co-author of the Modern Nirvana Oracle deck. He gave a TEDx talk on questioning negative thoughts and recently launched the course and community, Awaken the Healer Within, which we do talk about in this episode, and it's designed to help holistic practitioners turn their gifts into six-figure businesses. His YouTube channel boasts over 180,000 subscribers and 40 million views. Obviously, I'm reading Frank's bio off of a Google Doc right now, but I just want you to know in this episode, Frank does some energy clearing on me, and I'm extremely new, extremely green, and also extremely curious about this kind of stuff. So if you are too, please enjoy this journey into energy clearing. I think you'll find it completely fascinating. Hi, I'm Erin Power. I'm a health coach, a health coaching educator and mentor, and your host of Health Coach Radio. This podcast delves into the art, science, and business of health coaching. Whether you're aspiring to land a coaching dream job or to embark on your own entrepreneurial adventure, we cover it all. Our mission is to help you grow your career, elevate your income, change the lives of the clients who need your help, and leave a lasting mark in this rapidly growing field. It's time for health coaches to make an impact. It's time for Health Coach Radio. All right. Hey, Frank. I'm excited to chat with you. We're going to learn some interesting stuff today. I'm going to lean on you to teach us a lot about energy work and all of the amazing, areas of expertise that you have. So Let's start with this. You've had an incredible career shift from a 4 times Emmy-winning journalist to now a sought-after energy healing facilitator. Take us through what inspired this massive transformation in your life.
Yeah, that's such an interesting question. And it's something I think about a lot when people ask, because in my mind, it was such a blur.
Oh.
Like, even when I think about, like, when I did my TEDx talk in December of last year, they have to look over your script. And they were like, it's interesting, you didn't put anything in here from your journalism days. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, it didn't even feel like a part of me anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. And then so I changed like the intro to where I start the whole thing out with like a volcano eruption in Hawaii that I was covering. And so I finally found a way to tie that in. But it does feel like that part of my life really was incredible, but it was really just to serve this part of my life, which is to learn how to tell stories, to learn how to talk to people, to learn how to do, like, you know, when you're doing interviews with people on a national TV level, you're talking to not just celebrities and politicians and presidents, but you're also talking to somebody who just lost their home in a tornado, right, or some tragic thing, or there was a mass shooting or whatever it was. And we're the first people there talking to them. And so you really have to learn how to talk to people in sensitive situations, how to hold their hand, how to be there. If they're not ready to talk, you have to nurture that relationship and just say, hey, I'm here when you are ready. Like, give me a call. This is my number. Like, if you're ready in 2 or 3 days, or in the meantime, maybe you're holding their hand. And honestly, a lot of times what people don't see is we'll be like taking them to their home if we have access as journalists and they don't, to burn areas or whatever else. We'll take them to go and check on their home. And we're like, sometimes our focus was really just making sure, are you okay? And then, okay, let's do the interview after. Oh. And so I really had to learn how to, and thankfully I'm very empathetic, so I could feel everything people feel. And so I was really good at that part of the job. And so I think everything I did then was really just preparing me for now. And I was always an energy healer. I was always intuitive. I always had dreams that came true. And my teachers and my parents would ask me all the time, like, what did you dream about last night? You know, but it was never like part of my job. It was never something I was like, this is what, I didn't even know you could be a healer. I didn't know that was a job. And, you know, so yeah, I don't really know what the exact transition was, but I do know that my last interview was with somebody, with Lizzo. I don't know if you know who that is, but the singer. and I remember the whole time during that interview, I was thinking, I'll never do this again. I'm done. And I never did another. I was done after that. And I loved her. It wasn't about that. It was just that I could see how I just was not at all. I was so detached from that life at that point.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so interesting. It never occurred to me until just now, when you're reporting on disasters, and major traumas people are having in their life, accidents and tornadoes and volcanoes, that you're engaging with people during one of the most highly emotionally charged moments they may ever have in their life. I would imagine journalism school, actually, I shouldn't assume this. Does journalism school teach you this? Because you are a naturally intuitive, empathic person. So you were able to go into those scenarios and kind of hold that space. But is that something that they train you to either hold the space for, or even in some cases leverage folks' emotional states during that? Like, how does journalism training prepare you for that, if at all?
Honestly, none at all for me personally. And I was in a weird situation where I was already at Good Morning America. I think I was an intern. No, I was a desk assistant at that point when I was still in college. And then I became a producer when I was also still in college. And then by the time I graduated, I had already been on camera as a reporter. I had already been a producer. So it was like school was really just like, let me get this out of the way. But everybody, even my teachers, knew that I was already producing at a level that they had never produced at, or like, and then later on reporting that at a level that they had never reported at. But that was my personal school. I don't know if maybe you go to Harvard or something. I ended up taking classes at Yale as well. But if you go and get your journalism degree at Harvard or something, maybe there is like a part of that in the program. In my school, even though it was an amazing private college, that was not part of it. It was really like learning on the job. And to be honest, like even with energy work, I was trained formally in a way that could help me like channel my abilities and learn how to make it like clean and elegant and know how to work with people. But it was really like working with people that taught me, because I noticed like, oh, every time I see this misalignment in somebody, it means this. Or, oh, wow, a lot of people who are experiencing maybe physical pain or don't have motivation to go to the gym or are for some reason like self-sabotaging and eating really unhealthy, there was like a lot of very similar patterns, maybe shame, maybe guilt, maybe I also never realized how big abuse was. People who have been verbally or sexually abused, it's so prevalent. And I was really living under a rock, had no idea until it just started coming up in a lot of my sessions. And I would also, again, going back to like having to, wear kitty gloves, I would never tell somebody that happened to them because they might have blocked it out. And so what I say is, I'll say, do you know about a physical trauma that happened when you were 6? Or do you remember any kind of like a physical something at age 6? And if they remember and they tell me, great. If they don't, I just act like I don't know what it is, And I'll say, okay, well, let's just clear that energy. And I just clear it without having to know more. But now only even as I talk to you, I realize that like all of that just comes back to what I learned as a journalist as well.
Interesting. I'm so interested. Diving into your origin story is crucial. I just always think I love to hear how people come from point A, get to point B. And it's very clear to me, even in the first, 6 minutes of us talking, that you have found absolutely your calling. So okay, here's a big question. Ready for a really big question?
Yes.
What does the energy healing process actually look like for someone who's never tried any energy work? So like if you were going to walk a complete uninitiated newbie through the process, or what it is, well, I guess define what it is. Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. So a lot of times when I say I'm an energy healer, people go, oh, Reiki?
Right.
Like it's the first thing I get. Right? Because everybody knows Reiki. I've never tried Reiki. I don't even know what it is,
really?
to be honest. Never. Yeah. So mine's very different, although it's similar in a sense that I think with Reiki, there's no like communication. They're just sending you a frequency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I've had one Reiki session done, and I did not know what to expect. By the way, it was done at a massage studio. It was a massage add-on.
Okay.
I went for a massage and I got a Reiki add-on.
Of course.
So I don't know how legit this Reiki was, but the practitioner did ask me, I had something going on with my left leg, and they said that had to do with, I can't even remember what it was now, but like sort of ascribing physical limitations to possible emotional or energy leaks. I don't know. I was confused by the process. So I assume that you're.
So that's actually really similar to what I do. So on one end, there's a frequency that is going through on a subconscious level. But what I really loved about being trained to be more, like I said, more elegant, more sophisticated with it, is because if I'm just sitting there for an hour and doing that, and there's a healing taking place and the people will see a result after, but it almost doesn't feel like, it doesn't, like, some people really like something to grasp onto.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, for example, and if you want to do one, we can do one even live. But I was on a podcast 2 weeks ago, and this guy, he was from London, really amazing guy. And he said, can we did a clearing around his right leg. He said, I haven't been able to work out in a while, like years, because he's like, I have this really bad pain in my right leg and he was in his early 30s, but at 21, he had like a freak accident, like the bone like popped out, everything. It was like really horrific. It wasn't just a break. And I said to him, all your pain comes from age 24, not 21. Well, I cleared the trauma from age 21, that was there. But I said, the pain is actually from 24 from another injury. And he was like, no, my injury was at 21. And because I've done this for so long, I said, no, it's 24. And
Wow.
he said, because I used to doubt myself in the beginning and now I don't doubt at all. And I said, no, it's from 24. And he said, oh, you know what? I broke my ankle, same leg at 24. And so and we do this in every area of life, and that's why I love to tell this story, even though it's only 2 weeks old, is that a lot of times we'll look at these big traumas in our life and we'll be like, that's why I'm suffering. And it could be this little thing right here that you're not even thinking of that's affecting so much more. And so sometimes I'll tell somebody like, oh, you broke up with somebody at 22 and that's why you're having eye troubles now. And they'll be like, really? Like him? Like, I don't even think about him anymore. And I'll be like, I know. It's like you subconsciously think that was so irrelevant, but your body held on to that rejection, abandonment, whatever it was, the grief. And it's now manifesting, 10, 15 years later, because it's been held onto for so long, it becomes something physical. And so that same guy actually even said, he said, what's the biggest thing affecting me in my life? And I said, your dad cursed you when you were 7. And he kind of got teary-eyed, but he didn't say anything. And then at the end, he told me his dad had like trashed the house and left the family and never came back when he was 7 years old. 4 or 7, I can't remember. But it's that specific.
Man. Okay. Well, are the traumas always massive like that? Or can they be small? The reason I'm asking is because I imagine, and I wonder if you encounter this when you're doing this energy work with people and you say something happened when you were 24. If you said that to me, I'd be like, I have no idea. I can't remember.
Right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you find that people have a hard time recalling, especially if the trauma is not some obvious, massive, like my dad trashed the house and left kind of thing?
Right.
How does the size or the magnitude of the trauma factor in, if at all?
It's a great question. I think it's really 50-50 because some of my clients that I work with, every single thing I list, they'll tell me a whole story, even though I don't need to know. I'm always like, I don't need to know, but sometimes they like to, and that's great, fine. But they'll know a whole story for every freaking thing that I pull up. And then there's others that every single thing, they're like, I don't know. I don't know what that was. And then in my head, I'm like, God, is this going to work? But I always will get a testimonial or something from that person, an email, a text, like weeks later or something, being like, wow, everything has changed. Or if it's a physical thing, they're like, it's gone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I share an anecdote with you?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to hear your anecdotes as well. I like
Okay.
the client anecdotes because I think that, I don't know, I'm a kinesthetic learner. So it's like taking me through kind of some of these experiences you've had with people I think is really neat. So I wonder if there's a few other maybe anecdotes you can share. But I had this left leg issue. I went to Sedona and met with I can't remember what her actual, credential was, psychic of some kind. And I didn't give her a lot of backstory, but I said, I'm here to talk about my physical health. And she said, is pain a factor? I said, yes, pain is one of the factors. And long story short, she said, you can give that pain back to your mom. And the long and the short of it is my mom has passed away, but she battled chronic pain for the last 20 years of her life. And it was honestly a big part of her just sort of descent into chronic illness. But I left that energy healing session and went for a drive through the red rocks in Sedona. And I talked to my mom and said, Mom, I get it. Like now I understand what chronic pain feels like. And I absolutely, it's so difficult. One of the most difficult things I've had to live with. And, I appreciate you showing me this and you can have it back. You can have it back. Thank you for showing me. And I'm cured. That was 6 years of leg pain. So that kind of thing, is that, what do you think about that? Is that the kind of stuff that you're dealing with here?
It is. And a lot of times I'll tell people exactly what you just said, where it's like, I can do this for you and it'll be really easy, but you also can do it. And there's so many ways to do it. In fact, I was just telling Lindsay from your team, I was telling her this morning, I said, last night, no, 2 nights ago, sorry, I was like in bed, I was meditating. And then I go to sleep after the meditation, and my whole body starts convulsing, really convulsing. I mean, shaking, like panic, full on panic attack. And I was fine, like out of nowhere. And then I see my healer from New Zealand coming in and working on me. So I don't know if she was aware of it or not. I still haven't talked to her, but she is that powerful. So I wouldn't be surprised. And she's working on me, and I go, and I'm not calming down. And she's like, Frank, you can calm down. It's okay. I'm trying to do this energy healing for you. And I was like, and I remember I said to her, but you never know what could happen. A bomb could go off right now. Like, what do you mean I'm safe? You don't know. Right. I could be like, we could all just get detonated right now. And I'm convulsing still, my whole body. And then all of a sudden, I realized that it's because I was born into a civil war in Lebanon, and we left when I was 5 months old and came to the US. My body was still holding all that trauma from a 5-month-old of escaping and not feeling safe. And as soon as that realization happened, like within seconds, my whole body stopped convulsing. I relaxed and I went to bed peacefully. Wow. And it was like something needed to be cleared. And normally, I mean, I would just do a session on myself. I'd see what I need to clear. But in that moment, it wasn't even that. It was just like I needed to just be aware of where it came from. Mm-hmm. And then my body goes, okay, I got it. You're safe now. That was a long time ago. You're here now.
Wow.
And so that was like for you too, where you just, as soon as you had the realization of what it was and you spoke to your mother, you were able to let it go. I don't think it was your mom also coming in and being like, I'm going to take this from you now. It was you coming to terms with like, wow, I really understand what she went through. And you had a sort of healing that needed to take place for that relationship somehow.
Okay, but what happened? Like, okay, that's a big question. Like, how can you go from having 6 years of chronic pain to having it go away by sort of acknowledging or the acknowledgement, like, because I hear, and I've read the books and listened to the books on like the body keeps the score, and the way I was held in the body, and because I'm trying to understand it. Just I feel very illiterate to this type of thing. So, like, what is it? Why was my left hamstring? I'm thinking, why was my left hamstring holding this trauma? Like, can you explain? I don't know if it is even explainable. Like, what happened?
I don't know if it is in the sense of like, why did the body decide to hold it there? Yeah. Because I will, like when we do a session, if you want to do one now, I'll say like, this is being stored in your gut or in your liver or in your right shoulder. Like somehow things just get stored in certain places. And when they're just there for so long, it eventually becomes pain. Oh. And so, I mean, it's insane. I had a client today. She has like eye twitching in her eyes. We did a session, gone. It came back like 6 months later, and then the first time I had to clear so many things around it. The second time, it was like 1 or 2 things. It took us like 3 minutes, and it was gone because she just had put some new things there. And when we cleared them, again, it went away. And so some people, they actually will repeat, like I can work with somebody 10 times, and every time their thyroid is misaligned or their uterus, or like it's usually like the sex or the reproductive organs, or like thyroid happens a lot too, where some people will just constantly, every time I fix it, it gets imbalanced again. So there's like something there, and that needs to be looked at too. But that has to be done on your own of like, why do I keep imbalancing that part? Why do I keep storing things there? But it's a journey, and we're energetic beings, So sometimes, by the way, I had a woman come to me with herpes really bad, and she got it from her fiance. And I said, we're going to clear the energetic part of it. And we did. There was a lot of shame, a lot of victim stuff, a lot of things there. So that will help. Like, at least you probably won't have symptoms. But in order to clear it, Spirit also was like telling me, tell her to do ozone therapy, tell her to do that. Like it gave me like a protocol, take neem. I forgot what else came up for her specifically. And I told her 3 months later, she's testing negative. 6 months later, still negative. 9 months later, still fully negative. Like it's not there. The virus is gone. So sometimes it's energetic, and sometimes Spirit will tell me like, hey, tell this person to eat blueberries,
Well, I was actually getting in that rabbit hole a little bit, just because, our audience is like fitness and nutrition coaches. And I myself, by training, am a nutritionist. So I'm thinking, if somebody's liver came in and their liver was overburdened, I would give them some kind of like, theoretically, a detoxification protocol to, and I wondered like how you square the energy piece and the sort of more mainstream health and wellness diet lifestyle stuff. But it sounds like they naturally kind of coexist.
They do, they do. And because I'm not a nutritionist like you and I don't have that qualification and certification, I'm really careful to always not give any kind of like nutritional advice, medical advice, but I'll always write down in the notes like suggestion. I'll be like, suggestion, eat blueberries,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Suggestion, look into ozone, And like that way it's like I'm not giving you any advice, but look into it. See if there's something there that correlates. You do the research if you want to,
Yeah.
because I don't know, but there is a big component of that. And I think, sorry, Erin, I'm talking so fast,
No,
but
I love it.
sometimes it's not even just the nutritional benefit of it. Sometimes there's like an energetic component. Like for me the other day, it told me to take lobelia and I had never heard of it. And I drink it and it was like, it's so hard to drink, but I made it into a tea. It's this plant. And for me, I don't think it was just the physical benefits of that plant. I think that there was something in the energetic essence of that plant that I needed.
Whoa, interesting. Well, just to kind of, I just feel obligated to talk about this because it's sort of in the realm of scope of practice, and you really did dance around the edges, and this is just a really important sort of passion project of mine. Is that if you as a practitioner have a hunch, like maybe blueberries, maybe some kind of supplementation or protocol would be good, and then we can help our clients advocate with the appropriate health practitioner, like, hey, maybe go talk to your naturopathic doctor or your functional practitioner about XYZ thing. And you're not necessarily prescribing, but you're giving them resources and helping them sort of advocate.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly. And now that I know you, like I'll probably send people to you because like I have like an Ayurvedic doctor, Dr. Nidhi, who's been on my podcast. I'll send people to her. I have somebody here in LA who works with like magnets the way I do, but differently. And I'll send people to him all the time. Or I'll be like, hey, you really need an astrology session because you could just be in a cycle right now. Like somebody might say, I'm depleted or whatever. And I'll say, honestly, there's not much to clear around that. I think you're just like, listen to your body. You're in a cycle right now where you need to just calm down and not do so much. So I love recommending to the right people as well.
Wow, cool. I'm super curious to try a session, but I'm also nervous.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Do you have an actual intent? So sometimes people will come with an intention or they will just say, hey, see what comes up. And I actually like that as well. So it's totally up to you.
I will be frank with you, Frank. Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't have an intention. I like coming with intention. That's my preference, but I don't have one off the top of my head. So why don't you just see what comes up?
Let's see what comes up. Yeah. Are you comfortable? It's okay either way, but just so I know where to take this, are you comfortable giving your age?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Or would you rather not? Okay. How old are you now?
48.
48. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to connect with you for a second. So I set the intention for enlightened consciousness to flow through, to experience the purity of my own consciousness, and to cast out any expression of consciousness except for Erin so that I can do this clearing. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent Spirit who sent me, and I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because Spirit directs me. I am content to be wherever you wish, knowing that you go there with me, and I will be healed as I let you teach me to heal others. Okay, can I do a clearing for Erin? Okay. Let's start with like the top 3 things. First thing is energetic. Do you know about muscle testing? Since you're in this world, I feel like you might, right? Yeah. So I do a lot of like every single time I have an intuitive hit, I'll muscle test to make sure that I'm going the right way. So will too, no will too. Okay, good. So there's something, it's like a mental block. It's something that's being resisted. No will to change or transform. No will to move forward. No will to be open. No will to be open. And I'm going to give you a year of when this started because there could be something that correlates with what happened from 20 to 30. Do we need to know more? Can we clear this? So we don't need to know more, but it's from age 39 if anything comes to mind. At 39, there was no will to be open about something. And when I swipe this magnet, by the way, that's what I'm doing is I'm clearing that energy.
No will to be open.
Was that one a work related? Relationship related? That one was related to a relationship, family relationship, not family relationship. And it could be friendship. Personal relationship. It could also be romantic. It's one of those two. It's a personal relationship. Can I clear it? Did we clear that? Yeah, so we clear that. The next thing is energetic. What's romantic? Another very similar thing of like another resistant energy. Okay. And it's in column A. Okay, good. Or 15. Do we need to know more? Okay, we do need to know more for this one. So maybe this will help you kind of like hash it out and figure out what it is. No will to grow up, and it's from age 16.
No will to grow up. What does that mean? Like, I don't want to grow up?
That's why it wants us to know more, because it wants you to say what it means. Yeah, there was something there in it for you. But yeah, it's like not wanting to grow up, but it could also be, I've seen this happen in a few different ways where like it could be no will to grow up, like you saw parents get a divorce and you realize, I don't want to grow up. Growing up sucks. Like, look what they go through. Or you could, like, there's so many ways that your subconscious will create, I don't want that. Or if you see your parents struggling with money or whatever, like there was something where you're like, I don't want to grow up. Or if a teacher said something of like, well, you know, you're going to have to make money and go to school and like get grades or whatever it is. And you're like, I don't want to grow up. Do we need to know more? We still need to know more though. Anything come to mind?
Yeah. So when I was 15 or 16, and I'm struggling to remember exactly what year it was, my mom had a pretty major mental health break. And it was pertinent to, I think, her menopause transition, quite frankly.
And it let me clear it. So that's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah. And even if it was at 15, just to keep in mind, it probably was 16 if that's what I'm clearing, but it could also be the aftermath of it too. Sometimes I'll have people like, they'll have abandonment at age 7, but their dad left when they were 6. But it's like, yeah, but maybe at 7, you got dropped off at school and everyone's there with your dad and you're not, and you felt abandonment.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's
Are you a health coach who wants more hands-on coaching training? Are you thinking about becoming board certified? Primal Health Coach Institute's Master Coach Certification Program checks both of those boxes. It's live, so you get to ask questions as you go, and we cap the number of students for each round so you get individualized attention and plenty of opportunity to practice your coaching skills with faculty and peers. Coaches become great with experience, and this course fast tracks that educational experience so you don't have to spend years learning directly from clients. You'll know exactly how to coach for optimal results in just 12 weeks. It also prepares you to sit for the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaches exam so you can become a board-certified health coach. We only offer this certification program twice a year, and it fills up fast. So be sure to learn more at primalhealthcoach.com and reserve your seat soon.
So now let's clear something in the body. It's on the left side here. Wow, it's funny that it took me here because this is like one of the biggest things I can clear, spirit out of the body. Okay, so anything else? So it's that the spirit is partially dislodged from your body. Is it more than 5% dislodged? More than 10% dislodged? 10% dislodged? 9% dislodged? It's 9% dislodged, which is pretty significant because death is 100% dislodged. So now what we're going to do is bring your spirit back in by finding all the underlying reasons why it got out in the first place.
Yeah, let's definitely do that.
It's from a physical trauma. Oh, okay, we need to know more, and it's interesting because it's from age 15. So there was a physical trauma at age 15. Yeah, we need to know what it was. It's interesting too, because in like 90% of my sessions, maybe once we'll need to know what something was.
Oh.
So it could be that your mind is saying, I want to know what it is, and maybe that's what I'm picking up, but there's something where your curiosity wants to know.
Oh, yeah.
So there's something at age 15.
See, this is where...
A physical trauma.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to really I'm going to really struggle to remember what that might have been. Nothing obvious comes to mind.
Oh, okay. Do we need to know more than that? Can I clear it? Maybe it's something as small as just having been sick, like a flu or a cold or something. When I said, is it an injury? It said no.
Okay.
And I said, was it like being violated in any way? And it said no.
No. Okay. Well, Well, I don't know. This came up for me. Thinking back to the same era of life that we already referenced with my mom and that time of life. At that same time of life, I was having night terrors. Okay. And I think it was pertinent to it was pertinent to some kind of adolescent version of epilepsy that I tested positive for at that time. And so I was having these kind of like seizure-ish things every time I tried to sleep. And so I just basically didn't sleep for a couple of years.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Really?
Exactly what it is. So what happens is the body is like, I don't want to be here. This is so uncomfortable. And it kind of, I mean, sorry, not the body, the spirit. And so it kind of like dislodges a little bit. So that was probably such an uncomfortable experience for your spirit to be in.
Well, I don't know if this is too literal, but the night terror I used to have literally felt like something was being lifted out of, like I was being pulled out of my own body. That's how it felt. It was this terror where as soon as I'd fall asleep, I would feel almost like I was being pulled out of my own carcass.
Wow. It's literal. And you know what? There's also from age 15, this was a super, I don't know if you know how impactful 15 and 16 were for you, but there's also no will to love the divine, the divinity of life at 15. And I cleared that just now too. Is the spirit still dislodged from the body? The spirit is still dislodged and the associated amounts is energetic and post-traumatic. From before the age of 20, before the age of 15, do we need to know more? Again, 15, do we need to know more about this? Okay, it's an entity. There's an entity that attached you when you were 15. I can clear it now. When I ask if the entity was causing those epileptic incidents, it says no.
Okay.
So it wasn't causing it, but it could have been exaggerating it or something. But it was causing negative self-talk, being hard on yourself, self-abuse. Did I clear that? Yeah. Good. Is the spirit dislodged from the body? Is there any other associated imbalance? Okay, good. Let's clear one more thing. The spirit's back in the body.
Oh, thank goodness.
You'll feel like, I'm actually really curious to hear from you. It's interesting for me because usually in a session, I'll clear like 50 to 100 things. I clear a lot. But it's interesting that sometimes I'll just like be at a conference and someone will come up on stage and we just clear 3, 4, 5 things. And they'll send me this long message the next day of everything that's happened, or like a week later, whatever it is. Post-traumatic. So there's something else. This is something that I learned from Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's an amazing doctor in Utah. And it's called a broadcast. So there's broadcast messages. So we're kind of like walking around like radio towers, all broadcasting out these messages. Some are negative, some are positive. I'm only looking for the negative ones. And I like these because it's like with the other things, like the spirit being dislodged and now it's back in your body, you will feel more connected with yourself. You'll feel lighter. It's an interesting feeling. But with broadcasts, you notice that other people are no longer picking up this message of like, yell at me, hurt me, ignore me, reject me, whatever it is that you're putting out, which I'm going to find right now. In column B, general 1, general 3, general 5. Okay, good. It's right here. I need to be rescued. Oh, it is here. No one cares. Before the age of 20, before the age of 15. 16. Do we need to know more? Can we clear this? From age 16, the broadcast is that no one cares. So in that moment, feeling like no one cares, maybe wanting people to pick up that message too. Did we clear this? Was that related to mom? And that's related to mom too. Feeling like, but not feeling that she doesn't care. Maybe feeling like people don't care of what's happening, what she was going through or something like that, or what you're going through. Yeah. Did we clear that too? Yeah. Okay. I was going to be done, but let me just clear one thing that wants to be cleared. It's an emotion that's stuck. Yep. Wow, we're really healing that inner child. 15, 16. Do we need to know more? Can we clear it? Yeah, from 16 again. So just really laser focus on those 2 years. And it's longing. There's a longing. So your heart longing for something. And so we're going to clear that. How are you feeling? Does that resonate at all?
I'm desperate for it to resonate. Yeah, because I mean,
honestly, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because, I had a woman also from Germany who came to me. It was so funny. She's like, I heard you on a podcast and I want to do this, but I don't need anything. I'm good. I'm happy and I'm fine. But I'm curious. And I was like, okay, so let's just clear your heart, because maybe like everybody could just have a clear heart. That's a nice thing for anyone to do. And I kept going back to age 17, 18. And she was like, oh yeah, around that time, my family moved us from Germany to Bavaria. And she said, and they didn't tell us we were moving. They just said, because it was like guilt, abandonment, rejection, loneliness, all these things were coming up. And she was like, they just said we're going to go visit our aunt for the weekend, but we never came back. And so she's like, so I didn't say bye to my friends, nothing. And she's like, but I'm not mad at it. I get it. Like, it was a better life. It's what we needed to do. She was like justifying it. And I said, yeah, you as an adult can see why your parents did what they did. But your 18-year-old self is remembering is holding on to all these things. So whatever, we finished the session and like, I don't know, a few days later, she's like, wow, Frank, I thought I was happy. Now I know what happiness, like now I know I'm happy. She's like, I feel light. I can't thank you enough. Like her message was so nice. But throughout the whole session, she was like, I don't know. No, maybe. I don't know. But it's like, it's very interesting. I've had a few clients like that.
Yeah. Well, that's, I guess, I'm so, this is fast. It's so fascinating. Just amazing. Like the gift that you have for this. And I guess that was my next question is sort of like, and without putting any expectations on it, what kinds of like outcomes does a person get from the session? Because it's different, right? Than the psychic I went to in Sedona, one of 1,000 psychics in Sedona, which who said, just go, where I had this sort of like outcome and I went for a drive and I gave it back to my mom. It's like, this feels like I have to go do some thinking or walking.
With this, nothing, zero. It's just all from the session. Whatever I clear is cleared. I just tell people, like, honestly, I send a full recap by the end of the session so you can go through and look at it. But I always tell people it's not necessary. Like that energy is cleared. Like you no longer have any of the things I listed today. They're gone. They're already gone. And you'll know, like you'll see tomorrow. You'll see even later by the end of the day if you just feel lighter. But to answer your question, whatever the intention you came in with is the result, is the outcome.
Got you.
Because people will come in and be like, I mean, I've had, like, for example, there's this one guy, and the intention might change. His intention was, he's like Canadian, and he was like entrepreneur, super like, driven, and he was like, business is his only focus. Young guy, and was successful, but wanted to be more successful and was getting blocks. And in the first session, I said, we can't really clear around your intention because your esophagus is so messed up. I need to clear that. And it's going to take the whole session. And he was like, oh, he's like, no, that's fine. I throw up every day. I've been doing it for like 15 years, like casually. And I was like, he's like, yeah, it's just how I process stress. I have so much buildup of anxiety every day that I just throw up and then I feel good. It's a relief. And I'm like, no, that's not normal. And so we're going to have to clear that. So we did. And I said, listen, by the way, whatever I clear around your esophagus, it's going to help your business anyway, because whatever's causing that need to throw up is going to help you in your relationships. It's going to help you in your business. So let's just do that. And he's like, okay, we did it. He never threw up again. It's been like probably a year since I've seen him, but he ended up buying like 12 sessions and then getting it for his whole family too. He's such a sweet guy. But he was so blown away because he had never thrown up again. And he even said, he's like, Frank, like a week later, I tried to force it because I wanted to just know if I would get that relief. And he's like, I couldn't even force it. I just didn't want to. And another woman actually yesterday, 2 days ago, she's in Australia, and she said, Frank, she starts crying. And I've never seen this woman show emotion. She even said, she's like, I've never felt joy in my life. I don't even know what joy feels like. And you wouldn't tell. She's like she cracks me up during the whole call. I'm like, you need to stop making me laugh because I'm trying to clear it, And she like make me laugh the whole time. But she's married, has a son, but she does not feel joy. And she gets on the call and she's like, I never told you this, but I've been starving myself for 15 years. I have an eating disorder. And she goes, last week, a week after our last session, because she has a package, she said, I was playing with my son and my inner voice said, Nicole, go eat something. You need to eat. Stop starving. I almost want to cry even thinking about it. And she said, she's like crying to me. And she's like, because people have told me, healers, that when I turn 38, I'll start doing miracles. And she's like, I want you to know you're doing miracles now. And like, stop thinking about 38, 30. She's like bawling, crying. She's like, I made porridge. She's like, not only did I ate a bowl full of carbs. And she's like, and I have no desire to starve myself, like at all.
Wow.
And we never even looked at that. I was just clearing everything else in her life, around her relationship, around her childhood stuff. And all of a sudden, she's no longer starving herself after 15 years.
You got my wheels turning now because, so first of all, I just had, I'm starting to understand what, so, like, thank you for bearing with me, but like you're clearing energy. It's not like you're giving me homework to go and work.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. And I always tell people, that's why I don't go to psychics, because also, what's the point if someone tells you, Erin, you were Cleopatra. Okay, thanks. What do I do with that? Who cares? I'm Erin now and I'm dealing with this fucking back pain, Like, who cares? So I'm going to be like, look, you were a band. And like, when you see me doing that with a magnet, I'm not like brushing my hair. I'm moving, I'm clearing that energy. You and I are not separate. That's an illusion. That's like the biggest illusion, actually. That's the only illusion, is that, time and that we are separate. So that's why all my sessions, 95% of them are on Zoom.
Yeah.
and I'm clearing it from me for you.
Yeah. I have a follow-up question based on the woman you just spoke about from Australia. Not that we're not gonna leverage her story, but it made me think of something. But I just want to just quickly touch on the Zoom thing real quick.
Yeah.
Is there no necessary benefit to being in person? Like this actually works across the airwaves.
Works exactly the same. Yeah, yeah. I actually prefer it because I even have clients in LA who they're like, can we just do this in person? And I'm like, honestly, we can if you want, but I'm so much better on Zoom because I'm in my space.
Right.
I have like my, my stuff around me. I'm like burning stage and I just feel really comfortable and I can do this exactly the same. So why not,
Yeah. Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah,
So I kind of want to
yeah,
go back to the client from Australia, totally protecting her personal
yeah.
information, but it was just an interesting story because, and this is very self-serving, but I think maybe our listeners can extrapolate something from this. So I work as a nutritionist. I'm a weight loss nutritionist. I work with women on weight loss, and most of my women are my age,
Mm,
so late 40s, early 50s, and women of my generation, Generation X. We are very exposed to disordered eating, very, very exposed to disordered eating. Just we came up through the
mhm.
90s, through the thin culture. And now we're in this sort of second stage of life, and nobody really knows how to eat. So my clients don't know how to eat. And so what I'm wondering, I guess, is, when you shared that story, how she came to have something else was meant to be cleared, but instead it sort of nudged her to go and nourish herself. I mean, do you kind of do work in that space? Because I'm just thinking of all of my clients right now who I try to teach them how to eat, just kind of like, go nourish yourself, have a proper meal, don't count it, don't track it,
Yeah,
just exist with food and be a normal eater. And they really can't eat normally because there's probably some
yeah.
element of trauma around eating that they have. Do you find that comes up a lot with women? And I have a follow-up question, but I just want to know what your thoughts are on that.
It comes up a lot with women, and you're right. It is that generation too. And it's like, I won't even say this woman's age, but it is like usually like 37, 38 to like 48,
Yeah.
50. Yeah, I see that a lot. And I didn't even notice it until you just said it. And I started thinking about the people who have come with that. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is usually that age. And it's not that it's common for me. There's a lot of, I get like the whole gambit.
Right, right.
But it is something that I've seen a lot that people will either tell me that, oh, I just never told you this, but I stopped. And there's other people who they've just stopped. And a big common one is weed addiction.
Mm.
And that's another one where people will either come with that addiction or they'll just be like, by the way, I stopped smoking after doing a session with you. Like, I just don't crave it.
Oh,
Yeah. So sometimes it's like I think what I really want to get people thinking about too is that one area of life affects every area of life.
right.
Everything. When you fix this, you're fixing everything.
Well, okay, the weed addiction thing is interesting. The gentleman who was throwing up as his sort of stress response. It's sort of like we're all out here coping to some extent.
Yeah.
We're all using, whether it's involuntary like vomiting or voluntary, maybe, you know, kind of chronic weed usage or whatever. Alcohol is a big one too. Whatever, shopping,
Yeah.
any kind of coping. Scroll.
Avoidance, I guess, right? Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coping. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So I guess like once energy is cleared, now our the mechanisms we might have used to cope with the thing that is now cleared seem unnecessary. So I could imagine you
Yeah.
probably end up
And
with a lot of outcomes like that.
yeah. And you might even like, because I've noticed it in my own self, like with nicotine, for example, where it became habitual. And then actually, by the way, when I took the Lobelia, I had only been taking nicotine for the first time in my life. And I started about 2 months ago. But I liked it. It was getting me really
Yeah.
focused. And so I kept doing more and more. And then I was like, I knew it was something I shouldn't be doing, but I didn't even clear around it.
Right.
I was actually clearing around something else for myself. And it told me to take Lobelia. It was like the only thing it wanted me to do. And it was creating like 4 different imbalances in my body. And the only underlying thing was take Lobelia.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, so I take it. And then I'm like, I should probably look up what this is. So I Google it. And what it does is it make your body stop craving nicotine.
Oh,
And it was so interesting that that came up for me as I just had started my nicotine dependency, basically.
wow.
So, what I did, the reason I bring that up is because you might still do the thing, like the guy tried to throw up once or whatever. I have taken a couple of nicotine mints in the last week and honestly been like, I actually don't want this or need it. Like, it's not giving me that focus that it was giving me before. I'm not for some reason, whatever it was that the Lobelia did, maybe it tapped those receptors and gave them what they needed, but I just don't want it anymore. And so it's interesting because it's interesting doing a podcast because a lot of things don't know how to explain. I'm just like, I don't know, it just works.
I know.
Like, you mentioned Body Keeps the Score. All my clients tell me about that book. I've never read it. So I'm like, I get it. Like from the title, I can already tell like what it means. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yes, exactly that.
Yeah, I actually love that because it's very clear that and I don't know what the correct word is, your gift or calling for this transcends kind of the narrative.
Yeah.
Narratives are, I think, problematic. In the wellness world, there's a lot of narrative, and you seem to transcend it. So that's amazing. And I'm trying my best, although I'm deeply, deeply curious, to be cognizant of the questions I ask you, understanding that it's going to be difficult to articulate to this sort of normal listening audience what you do. I do have a list of questions still that I want to hit with you, but I just want to.
Okay.
This is just one small thing, and it might be down a completely weird rabbit hole. But I just want to ask, I did a guided psilocybin journey a few years ago and had a lot of the same mom sort of stuff came up for me in that journey. And in the integration after that guided journey, I really worked through a lot of it and thought about a lot of it and had a sense of lightness after, like, oh, I've now dealt with that, but clearly I haven't, because here it still comes up.
There's always more. I tell everybody,
Yeah.
even for me, there's always more.
But even after I came into that journey, because you made me think of this when you were when you talked about your nicotine, how you took it on and you were like, I don't really want this anymore. I kind of had the same thing where I was having some little coping mechanisms, and that journey, I was able to kind of just sort of like cleave apart my dependency on whatever I was coping with. Anyway, I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are on like psychedelic journeys as it pertains to this. Does it conflict, or is it kind of harmonized, or totally different world altogether?
I think it's a totally different world altogether, but I love plant medicine. I've done, I don't know, like 35 ayahuasca ceremonies. I've done bufo. I've done lots of mushroom ceremonies with shamans in Mexico and Costa Rica. I love the medicine, but I stopped doing it about 4 years ago because I just felt no longer called. And it got to the point where I was sitting up in meditation during the whole journey. And I was not even like reacting anymore. And it was not even, I would say even the last like maybe 6, 7 journeys were not even about me. I wouldn't even come up at all. My story, my narrative, what you were talking about, it was more like I would look at a fire the whole time and just say, okay, teach me about fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tell me about creation. Tell me about, and I would start learning from the medicine rather than making it about my narrative. And I love that you actually even brought up narrative too. And then I'll come back to plant medicine because I'm 37 now. When I'm 38, what's been predicted by my healer, who's never been wrong about anything she has said to me or any of my clients, she said, when you turn 38, and my hair is long, I have a 30, she couldn't see it, but I have a 38 tattoo right here. And I've had it for like 15 years. I've always known when I turn 38, something will happen. I was like a kid when I got this. I was like 21 or 22. And I just knew when I turned 38, something will happen. And she says to me in my first session with her, when you turn 38, people will start coming to you from all over the world for a miracle or for a blessing or whatever it was that she said. And she said, she didn't tell me how it'll look. She said, don't try to figure it out. You're going to start. And I'm starting to see now, as I get closer to that age, little things. And part of that is that I need to, partially, I think, will be stop identifying with people's narrative and their story. Because right now I go, oh, when you were 15, this happened. Let me clear that for you. I think it'll get to the point where we're going to go beyond illusion.
Yeah.
And the miracle, like even in one of my favorite books is A Course in Miracles, and they talk about Jesus and his methodology. And he says he just had perfect vision. He couldn't even see a blind man. He would be like, no, your vision is, you have perfect vision. And he would not meet you at your illusion.
Right.
He would bring you up to his vision, his perfect vision of what you are. And so I think that there's, not to ever compare myself, but I think that there's partly, I'm learning a lot from that of like, okay, go beyond this person's story and what the subconscious is creating this narrative and what it needs to suffer by creating this thing. Like I want to go beyond all of that. So I'm still figuring out what that looks like and how. I'm not figuring it out, it'll happen, but that's where I'm going to next.
That's interesting.
And then with plant medicine, I mean, I love it, but one of my favorite clients says to me, he's been coming to me for like 3 years, almost every 2 weeks or every month sometimes, every 2 weeks sometimes, for 3 years, and his family, everybody. And he's like, I love working with you because it's like ayahuasca without throwing up. Like you're clearing it anyway, and I didn't have to go through the journey of it. It's like an hour Zoom call, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, that's interesting.
So we're clearing the same things in different ways.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, gosh, it's fascinating. I mean, and when you said, this idea of okay, like, and this is kind of what my experience was, like, having had my energy cleared by you on this call and being completely new to it. Is I feel like I have to make sure to answer the question appropriately and find in my memory the thing that you're trying to
Mm,
clear. And it's like, no, there's an
yep.
energy. There is
Yeah.
an energy. It's there. It simply needs to be cleared. It doesn't necessarily matter. Maybe it doesn't, if I'm interpreting this right, maybe it doesn't necessarily matter what the specific story, narrative, or the input was. The energy is there. It just is. And it just simply needs to be cleared.
It just is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just there. And we can, I mean, if you, it's up to you. I don't know how long you go, but we can do another one as well. But I'm happy to answer more questions, do a little bit more tying up, clearing, whatever. You can get, now that you understand a little more, you can even ask like a specific intention. If there's a physical thing, I always love doing that because it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, that was there and now it's not.
Oh, really? Like pain, like an injury or something like that?
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah.
Okay. I do have.
People have, that same person from Australia said she had something in her eye. There was something in her eye where it was, and I went to it first. I said your left eye or whatever it was. Yeah, her left eye. And she said, oh yeah, it's funny you say that because I've never not had pain there in the last like 12 years or whatever it was since she went to a trip to India. And she's like, I thought it was because I looked up and somebody had something dripped from the balcony and into my eye and it was like dirty water. And she's like, ever since then, I thought maybe there was like little maggots or parasites or something. And I said, no, everything that I listed had nothing to do with that. It was all like energetic, emotional, whatever. And in that next session, the one where she told me like she was not eating, she was starting to eat again. She also she told me it was completely gone. There was nothing there. There was like she said there's like a fragment of something every now and then,
Mhm.
and then we cleared a little more around it. So in the next session, I'll see. But yeah, it was gone. And it had nothing to do with what she thought it did.
I do have an issue. I don't want to be greedy, but I'm curious about this one. I have a physical issue.
I think it's actually the opposite. It's not greedy. I think people
Yeah.
really they learn by
Okay.
seeing.
And I thank you for saying that because I would too.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
learn more about this by seeing it than talking about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
Okay. What's the pain?
It's in my lower back lumbar. It's a lumbar strain, but it comes up way too often, and it puts me out of commission.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything I can clear for this? Improve the body sensitive, please try. Okay, so it is taking me to your back, so that's good. System. Because sometimes people will say back and it has nothing to do with the back, it's in the skull. But it is in your vertebrae.
Mm-mm.
You actually said lumbar, so let me see if it's the lumbar. No.
Mm.
Actually, something in your sacrum, in the coccyx.
Yeah.
Oh, sacrum, not coccyx, sorry, sacrum. Okay, is the associated balance energetic? And it's from a recovery that was interfered with. You were supposed to recover from something and your body didn't from the age of 20, 30, 35. At 39, to know more, can we clear this? At 39. So at 39, there was some kind of like injury and your body didn't fully recover. Do you know what that was?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a car accident that I hurt my back, and I did 2 years of physical therapy, and then the insurance company kind of forced me to close it out.
Wow.
And it felt
Okay.
fine. It
Yeah,
did
so you
feel
didn't
fine.
fully recover.
It felt like, to me, it felt fine. I could get on with my life, but then any little niggling injury I had after that seemed to be related back to that. So, yeah.
Okay. There's still something more. Let's see what it is. There's an emotion there as well. There's also betrayal at 26. Can I clear this? Being betrayed. And if you think about betrayal, it's like a knife in the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we clear this betrayal? If you want to know more, we can always ask more, but we don't need to. There's still something for your back. It's because there's something in the energy body as well, not the physical body, spirit body. Actually, it's one of the chakras. Heart chakra. How are you on time?
I've got time.
Is it okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Because the heart chakra takes like sometimes there's usually underlying things. Yeah. So I might have to just start writing it down so I don't forget it. Because the heart chakra is misaligned. But there's an underlying thing I have to clear first. It says chakra. Okay, so let's see what it is. And the associated imbalance there. Disconnection. Okay, so, oh, okay. Spirits out of the body, physical disconnection. From a broken, there's a broken spirit. So almost like a broken heart when somebody says like a broken heart. It's like a break in the spirit. And the associated imbalance there is energetic. But I'll tell you why. Okay, I'm going to write this down too so I don't forget. Do we need to know more? All we needed to know is that it's related to the betrayal that you felt. And it's at age 26, there was a will to cheat. Do we need to know more? Can we clear this? Sometimes I would go deeper into that, but just for podcast sake, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Did we clear the will to cheat? Is there anything else that's causing the broken spirit? Okay, that was the only thing there. Good. Is the heart chakra misaligned? The associated imbalance energetic. There's another broadcast that's being broadcasted out. Okay, and is the broadcast eliminated? I'm hurting or I hurt. 15. Can I clear this? Again at 15. Is the heart chakra still misaligned? Oh wait, I was clearing, what was that? Oh, the heart chakra. Yeah, okay. Organ. And the heart is also imbalanced, like the actual organ is supposed to be imbalanced. Okay, now it's getting us, now I don't understand why it's part of the back pain because now it's taking me to the skeletal system. So I'll just write heart organ so I don't forget. Connective tissue. Okay, let's find out where in the skeleton is the appendicular. Axial, it's in the axial, so definitely like the upper body, vertebrae. It's actually not in your vertebrae, it's in your skull. Frontal. Occipital bone, so like kind of like right here in the back. So I'll write that down, occipital bone. Okay, let's see why. Can you tell me why that's imbalanced? Okay. Do we need to know more? I don't know if you remember, I don't know if there was an injury or something, but oh no, it's not an injury. It could be physical shock at age 11. So shock to the body at age 11. So it probably was to the skull or something. But we can clear that energy of that shock. It could even be like a volleyball hit you in the head or something. You know, there was one time somebody was doing a clearing for me and they were saying that I had a physical trauma and they gave me the age and it was like right here, they said. And I was like, no, definitely nothing happened. And I remember the next day that I had hit my head at a sauna on a light and I had to go to the emergency room. They stapled my head shut, everything. And I was like, nope, never had an injury up here. But it's like, I forgot about that till just now.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of things come to memory.
For sure, right? And they say that when you're in theta and you go to bed too, a lot of people tell me that they'll remember some things that came up in the session. So I wonder if that would happen. Let's see if the occipital bone is still imbalanced or misaligned. No, is the heart organ still imbalanced or misaligned? Is there still a broken spirit? Is there still a heart chakra misalignment? Is the heart chakra cleared? Okay, good. Is there anything else I should clear for that back pain? Okay, it's energetic. Let's clear one more thing. Circular system. Toxic. Oh, it's actually perfect because it's a suggestion, sleep, nutrition. There's something that it wants you to eat. It's a food, like some kind of a food, not a nutrient or like a herb. Okay. Pepper. I don't know, pepper. Pepper. But when I said bell pepper, it said no. So not bell pepper, but like a pepper. I don't know if there's different kinds of peppers.
Yeah, like
I guess like jalapeno, is that a pepper?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So pepper. And then that's it. Let's see if there's, okay, is that going to clear all the back pain? Is there still something else? Okay, I think that's going to be good.
So,
That'll help enough at least.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. You got to let me know in a few days. Give it like a week. I always tell people give it a week. You know what it is? It's like, imagine you were carrying this in your hand
Yeah.
since you were like 15 or 39 from the accident, and then I just took it out.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's not continuing to clear, but your body is going to take it like a week to be like, oh, that's not there,
Yeah.
to get used to not carrying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
this fat.
But you never know. It could be tonight. You might be like totally fine tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that obvious where you'll notice in a week if it's gone?
So the issue with the back pain is that it is actually an injury that comes up when I exercise. And I always thought it was, the reason I brought it up because I thought it was related to my central nervous system. It's like my brain doesn't want to lift the weight beyond this certain amount. So when I'm strength training, if I get a deadlift, I can get to a certain weight. But if I go beyond that weight, my lumbar sacrum basically, I get this little pop and it's like, nope. And I've never been able to get past that weight. And I've kind of reconciled like, well, why do I need to, I don't need to lift heavier than that. It's fine. My body doesn't want to, but it's like, well, why?
Right.
It's not my body. It really does feel like my central nervous system taps out on that lift. And I've been really,
It could be because it knows like you don't want to overdo it, but I don't think it's causing it
okay.
because it would have come up. Yeah. Yeah. But it could know that like, hey, this could be an injury, a way worse injury if we keep going. It could be preventing something for sure.
Interesting.
But I don't think it's causing the existing pain.
Got you. Okay. No, this is
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
cool. I hope that folks listening and watching, I don't know, I feel really just amazed and just it's incredible what you do, honestly. How
Thank you. I honestly love talking to you. You're so easy to talk to. So thank you. I do so many podcasts, but I feel like I'm just talking to like a friend on Zoom.
yeah, I'm not a very good podcast host. I just like to have chats.
No, that means you're a great podcast host.
Okay, but so how do you work with folks? So I know that you do this over Zoom. You say people buy packages and you have people who engage with you for years and years. Like how do you typically work with folks?
Yeah, so I have like a booking page online. It's pretty easy, or they can just DM me on Instagram too. But booking is like the easiest way online because I miss messages all the time. So there's a calendar on my website. I think right now it's a few months out. I think September is like the next opening. But people book in advance, and then that's really just it. And then there's different options. There's a single session, which I like to do for some people just need one, and sometimes they need or they want to try it out. And then there's packages of 6 and 12.
Yeah.
I really like those a lot because I love seeing a person's journey from beginning to end. They're like a whole different person. First session, oh, hey, thanks, my back feels good. Second session, oh, hey, thanks, like whatever. By the 6th, 7th session, they're like, nothing bothers me. I'm so detached. Like everything is, I don't know, like my ex-husband or whatever comes to pick up the kids and I feel nothing. Whereas before, every time I saw him, my blood would boil. Like it's very interesting. And people just, after that many sessions, because I think what happens is the subconscious is going to be like, okay, if we get one session, I want my nervous system to be regulated. I want whatever else. So they give me like kind of the biggest thing. The subconscious will give me the biggest thing to clear to get you just to be stable. Yeah. And then after that, it's optimizing, and just getting better and better and better. And then I also have for people, it's what I love about connecting with you, especially because this is very new to me, this part of like training other health coaches. So for me, like with healing facilitators, we did a poll on my Instagram and we were like, because I have so many healers that follow me, incredible healers. Like when I peek and look at their stuff, I'm like, this person's amazing, you know? It's you too, I'm sure, right? It's like so cool to see the people who follow. And we did a poll and I was like, what's your biggest pain point as a healer or as a facilitator of any kind? You would be involved, you would be included in that. Health coach, holistic therapist, yoga teacher, breathwork, anything. What's your biggest pain point? 67% said, I don't know how to monetize my gift.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to monetize it. And I thought that, and then the second one was imposter syndrome. And then the third most popular was, I don't have a gift that I know of. And so what I did was create this course. It only launched last week, but it's called Awaken the Healer Within. And it's helping people connect with their intuitive abilities, teaching them how to muscle test so that you're not relying on a pendulum. Like stop giving your power away, or a psychic. Like you should always know the answer for everything, for anything. Like I do it constantly. I muscle test every day, constantly. So it teaches people that. And then the modules are all like toward the end, just teaching people, including the weekly live call, how to build a practice, how to get on podcasts, how to write pitch letters, how to talk on a podcast, how to create content, how to get over imposter syndrome, how to build your pricing, like everything. Because I feel like people, they just think, and I did too for the longest time, I'm just so good that everyone's just going to find me.
Right.
Like, you know, but it's like, no, you really need to actually put yourself out there and do it right.
Cool. Oh, that's amazing.
So that's called Awaken the Healer Within. People can find that on my website too.
Okay. I love that.
Oh, and we have a code for you, Erin, 10% off for anybody who joins.
That's right. Yes. Hang on. I've got that here. So awakenedhealers.com/join and code Erin for 10% off the course. That's amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
I think this is incredible. I think even a lot of sort of like, what's the word I want to use here? Like there are some folks who are geared more toward believing in or wanting to facilitate the power of energy. And then there's probably a lot of, you know, I might call them, just to generalize, I might call them the bros. And they might not be all men, the bros who are kind of more evidence-based.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you speak to that category of person who thinks like, nah, this stuff's not for me, not for my clientele? Is it for them? Is it not for everyone? What do you, who's this best suited for?
It'll heal anybody who wants to and wants to come. But it's interesting, you know, I did it for my own YouTube channel years ago, like 10 years ago. I did a video with this guy. He was an Ayurvedic practitioner. He was the Ayurvedic practitioner for Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa. Like he had massive clients, Hollywood celebrities. And he was doing things that were just phenomenal. I would go to, he's passed away since, but I would go to his retreats to document or whatever else. And I would see people who they're like, oh yeah, I was 55 years old or even 58, whatever it was. And the woman had a baby and she had her menstrual cycle back because he got it back for her. Like all these things that were like seemingly impossible. And I said, well, what would you say to people who think that this is all fake? And he said, don't come. Right. He's like, I have a long enough wait list. Don't come. He's like, try everything else. And when you're done and you're tired and you're sick and you've tried everything, then come. And I'm happy to help you then.
I love that.
And honestly, same answer.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
It is the opposite.
Yeah.
Syndrome, like, okay, well, then don't do it.
Yeah. He's like, well, then don't come. Try everything else. And when you need me, I'll be here.
Amazing. Cool.
You know? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Frank, I don't want to stop talking to you, but I'm going to let you go. And I really want to I just want to thank you for this demonstration. I mean, I had a lot of questions about energy stuff, but I do think the demonstration, the way you walked me through it was probably the most useful way to spend our time here. I personally will tell you as kind of, I'm a bro myself, but I'm all in on this, just having experienced it as a recipient. So you might catch me using my own discount code in your course.
I would love that. You're welcome. I'm sure I'll be asking you to be a guest teacher at one point.
Yes, exactly. Wait for it. Okay, amazing. Well, so Frank, is awakenhealers.com your website then?
My website is frankelaridi.com.
Okay. frankelaridi.com.
Yeah, Awaken Healers is just for the course, but there's also a tab on my website for it.
Oh, sweet. Okay, frankelaridi.com. And on Instagram, what's your handle there?
It's at F like Frank Elaridi.
Perfect. Amazing.
So at F Elaridi.
Wow. Yeah. I really appreciate this conversation. It was so incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Primal Health Coach Institute. To learn more about how to become a successful health coach, get in touch with us by visiting primalhealthcoach.com/call. Or if you're already a successful health coach, practitioner, influencer, or thought leader with a thriving business and an interesting story, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us at hello@primalhealthcoach.com and let us know why we need to interview you for Health Coach Radio. Thanks for listening.